How do you know if it's love or just desire? Here's a truth most of us don't want to face. So many of us have convinced ourselves we were in love, when really we were just hungry. Hungry to be touched, hungry to feel wanted, hungry to fill that aching void inside us with someone else's body. But touching skin isn't the same as touching souls. Maybe you've been there. Maybe you've woken up next to someone and felt empty, connected physically, but miles apart emotionally. Because they knew your body, but they never bothered to learn your heart. So let me ask you something that might change everything. Are you being loved, or are you just being needed when someone feels lonely in their own skin? Because the difference will determine whether your heart grows or slowly breaks apart. Let me tell you what I've learned about the cruelest illusion of all. Physical intimacy can make you feel incredibly close to someone. Your bodies intertwined, your breathing synchronized, your hearts beating against each other. In those moments, it feels like pure connection, like you've found your person. But here's what nobody warns you about. You can be skin to skin with someone and still be completely alone. Because when the lights come back on, when your clothes are back on, when reality settles in, that's when you discover the truth. They're not asking how your day was. They're not curious about your dreams. They don't notice when you're quiet because something's weighing on your heart. They wanted your body, but they never wanted to know your soul. And this is where it gets heartbreaking. You start to believe that this temporary closeness is love. You convince yourself that those intense moments of physical connection mean something deeper. But love doesn't disappear when passion fades. Love doesn't ignore you until desire strikes again. Real love doesn't make you feel like a ghost in your own relationship. You know you're being used, not loved, when they remember every curve of your body but can't remember what makes you laugh. When they know exactly how to touch you physically, but have no idea how to comfort you emotionally. When they reach for you in the dark, but walk past you in the light. Your heart deserves so much more than being someone's temporary escape from loneliness. You deserve someone who sees you as a whole person, not just a beautiful body with a heartbeat. But what if I told you there's a completely different way to be loved? A way that feels like coming home to yourself? Real love doesn't start with, "Are you free tonight?" Real love starts with, "How are you feeling today?" The person who truly loves you will want to know if you're tired before they want to know if you're available. They'll notice the weight in your voice before they notice what you're wearing. Because here's what real love looks like. It's in the way they look at you when you're telling a story they've heard before, but they listen anyway because they love watching your face light up. It's in how they wait for you to finish your thought, even when the silence stretches long. Real love doesn't rush you. It doesn't pressure you. It doesn't make you feel like you're failing some invisible test. When you're breaking down, real love doesn't try to fix you immediately. It sits with you in the mess. It holds space for your tears without checking the time. It says, "I'm here," and actually means it. You know it's real love when they choose to be with you on your worst days, not just your best ones. When you have the flu and you're absolutely disgusting, and they still bring you soup and don't make you feel embarrassed about your messy hair and runny nose. Real love sees you at 3 a.m. when anxiety is eating you alive, and instead of getting frustrated that you woke them up, they pull you closer and whisper, "Tell me what's in your head." This is the love that doesn't fade when passion cools down. This is the love that grows stronger when life gets harder. Because real love isn't just about what happens between the sheets. It's about what happens between the heartbeats. It's presence. Pure, consistent, unwavering presence. But here's where it gets dangerous. Sometimes we find ourselves in relationships that wear the mask of love, but underneath, they're slowly stealing pieces of our soul. You know the ones I'm talking about, where you're always performing, always on, always making sure you look perfect, smell perfect, act perfect. Because the moment you let your guard down, the moment you show up as your real, messy, human self, they lose interest. These relationships disguise themselves as passion, as intensity, as love, but really, they're just sophisticated forms of using someone. Think about it. When was the last time they asked what your dreams are? When did they last want to know what scares you at night? What makes you feel alive during the day? They know your body like a map, but your inner world? That's foreign territory they've never bothered to explore. You become an actress in your own life, always smiling when you want to cry, always saying, "I'm fine" when you're falling apart, always being available when they need you, even when you're running on empty. Because here's the cruel truth about these relationships. They love the idea of you, the fantasy version, the one who's always eager, always accommodating, always beautiful, always ready. But the real you, the one with insecurities and bad days and complicated emotions, that version makes them uncomfortable. So you shrink yourself, you edit yourself, you become smaller and smaller, trying to fit into their narrow definition of what's lovable. And slowly, something terrifying happens. You stop recognizing yourself in the mirror. You've been giving so much of yourself away that there's nothing left for you. You feel like a ghost in your own body, exhausted from pretending to be someone you're not. The saddest part? You mistake this exhaustion for love. You think that's what love feels like, being constantly drained, constantly worried about whether you're enough. But love shouldn't leave you empty. Love should fill you up. So how do you know when someone actually loves you? Not just your body, not just the fantasy of you, but the raw, unfiltered truth of who you are? Let me give you 5 signs that will change how you see every relationship in your life. First, they listen to your fears without trying to fix them or dismiss them. When you tell them you're scared of ending up alone, they don't laugh it off or say, "That's silly." They sit with you in that vulnerability. They hold space for your terror because they understand that your fears are pieces of your heart and they want to know every piece. Second, they respect your no as much as they celebrate your yes. Real love doesn't pout when you set boundaries. It doesn't make you feel guilty for having limits. When you say, "I'm not ready," or "I need space," or "that doesn't feel right to me," they don't see it as rejection. They see it as you taking care of yourself, and that makes them love you more, not less. Third, they're patient with your healing. They don't rush your growth or make you feel broken for having baggage. They understand that you're not a project to be fixed, but a person to be loved through every stage of becoming. They don't tap their foot waiting for you to get over your past. They walk with you through it. Fourth, and this one might make you cry, they love you when you're ugly crying at 2 a.m. When you have mascara streaking down your face and you're hyperventilating about something that happened 10 years ago. When your hair is a mess and you smell like sadness and exhaustion. That's when real love shows up, with tissues and stays until the storm passes. And fifth, when they make love to you, they're making love to your soul, not just using your body. Their eyes stay open. They want to see you, really see you. They whisper your name like it's sacred. They touch you like you're precious, not like you're a fantasy they're acting out. This is how you know someone loves you. They make you feel more like yourself, not less. But here's the most important truth I can give you. None of this matters if you don't love yourself first. Because when you truly love yourself, something magical happens. You become allergic to anything that feels like settling. You stop accepting crumbs and calling it a feast. You stop letting people touch your body without first touching your soul. When you love yourself, you realize that your heart is sacred ground. Not everyone gets access. Not everyone deserves to walk through the garden of your vulnerability. And definitely not everyone gets to plant seeds in the soil of your trust. You start to notice the difference between someone who wants you and someone who sees you, between someone who desires your body and someone who adores your mind, between someone who texts you at midnight asking, "What are you wearing?" and someone who texts you at noon asking, "How did your meeting go?" Real love doesn't start in the shadows of late-night messages. It doesn't begin with someone sliding into your DMs with barely disguised hunger. Real love starts in broad daylight, with respect shining in their eyes and genuine interest in their voice. When you love yourself, you stop being available for people who only want you when it's convenient for them. You stop answering those "Hey stranger" texts at 1 a.m. from someone who hasn't checked on you in 3 months. You start demanding consistency, not just intensity. Listen to me carefully. You were not born to be someone's emotional ATM, dispensing comfort and validation whenever they're running low. You were not born to be someone's physical sanctuary while being their emotional stranger. You were not born to give your body to people who wouldn't give you their time. You were born to be loved completely, messily, imperfectly, but completely. You were born to have someone fight for you, not just sleep with you. To have someone choose you every single day, not just when they're lonely. To have someone see your worth, not just your curves. When you truly love yourself, you become impossible to use because you know your value and you refuse to accept anything less than someone who treasures it. Here's what I need you to remember as you walk away from this moment. Sex can be easy. Anyone can take their clothes off and share a bed. Anyone can give you temporary pleasure and fleeting connection. But love, real love, takes presence. It takes commitment. It takes someone brave enough to touch your soul first and patient enough to wait for your heart to trust them. If you're looking for real love, don't you dare settle for temporary touches from people who will disappear when the sun comes up. Because the person who is meant for you, they won't be in a hurry to get you into bed. They'll be too busy falling in love with your mind. They won't send you mixed signals that leave you questioning your worth. They'll be consistent in their affection, clear in their intentions, and gentle with your heart. Real love doesn't make you wonder where you stand. It doesn't leave you analyzing text messages or questioning whether you're too much or not enough. Real love makes you feel safe, seen, and celebrated exactly as you are. The love you're searching for won't pressure you to prove yourself. It won't ask you to be smaller, quieter, or more convenient. It will invite you to be bigger, braver, and more yourself than you've ever been. So please, be patient with your heart. Guard it like the treasure it is. Don't give it away to people who only want to borrow it. Don't share your body with someone who won't share their soul. Wait for the one who looks at you and sees a person worth knowing, not just a body worth having. Wait for the one who wants to build something beautiful with you, not just have a beautiful moment and move on. Wait for the love that whispers, "I choose you" in 1,000 small ways every single day. The love that stays when life gets messy, that grows when challenges come, that deepens when everything else fades away. You are worth that kind of love. You have always been worth that kind of love. And when it comes, you'll know, because it won't just touch your body. It will touch the very center of who you are. And you'll finally understand what it means to be loved, not just wanted. Your heart has been waiting for this. Don't make it wait for someone who was never meant to hold it.